Hello, I'm Terrydavidmulligan, and welcome to Mulligan Stew, the video. This is the podcast on our YouTube channel. The guest is Devin Cuddy. If you're a Canadian, the name Cuddy means everything because his father is Jim Cuddy, the co-founder, co-leader, co-singer, co-writer of Blue Rodeo, one of our best bands and one of our most historic bands in Canada. Still. So Devin and his brother Sam took to the basement and made their own music. They didn't tell their dad. They didn't ask for advice. He kept saying, "Do you want me to help you with this?" "We'll do it ourselves, Dad. Thank you so much." They came out of the basement years later with tunes that they both believed in. So we're going to pay attention right now to Devin because he has a new album called Dear Jane, which is a flip-flop of Dear John. And it's very good. It's really good. He sounds, by the way, even though we reference Randy Newman, he does sound like him. He plays like him. And how many singers, songwriters have we known today who are piano-based? There's Billy Joel and Elton John and those, Randy Newman. So here comes Devin Cuddy asking for your attention just a bit. Have a listen. Quite remarkable, this young man. And I've watched the growth from day one, and I think it's fantastic that Devin Cuddy is the future of music in Canada. Have a listen. See if you see. Devin Cuddy is my guest. I'm Terrydavidmulligan. This is Mulligan Stew, CKUA, and the Mulligan Stew podcast. Did I get that right so far?
Sounds like you did.
Okay. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Nice to see you too.
It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Roundhouse Radio. By the way,
yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you, I went back and listened to it. When you do the first box set of your career, if you're looking for a one-off for a couple, because we did, you did, hold on a second, you did Lie to Me and you did Afghanistan, and they were great.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Just for the box set.
Yeah, for sure. I'll come looking for those. That was fun. I remember that.
Congratulations, by the way, on Dear Jane. This
Thank you.
New music in your life. It'll transport you to places you never thought you'd go. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I hope so.
5 years?
Well, the meat of the record we've had for probably even more than that, or we recorded more than that ago, and I decided not to put it out during the pandemic because I felt that we need to take it to people, like tour and stuff, is the best way to support records for us. So we've had the material for a long time. Some of it we've been performing live for a long time. We added some stuff, including the title track, recently. So it's a hodgepodge of different sessions, but I think this idea of storytelling sort of is a through line through the whole thing.
Could you see yourself doing a concept album, front to back?
I could. I'd like to. I wonder if I can flush out an idea enough to.
No, the idea will find you. It'll come and find you, and you go, "Oh my God, that's it."
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely revisit ideas and themes and songs. So if I kind of just did one straight line through a whole record, yeah, of course, I'd love to do that. I'd like to think about one thing for that long. That'd be nice.
Okay, the track of Bleeding Kansas led to that question because I thought, well, he's talking about there's some characters in here. There's some strong characters going on. What's going on here? Where'd that come from? Is that an older tune?
Sort of in between. It's sort of a history tune. So it's about the state of Kansas before the Civil War, and there was a battle to either make it a slave state or a free state. And the state was flooded with Southerners and Northerners, and there was skirmishes and fighting, and it was dubbed by the newspapers Bleeding Kansas. I use a lot of terminology from the textbooks in it, and the song is very influenced by Randy Newman, sonically by one particular songwriter I won't name, but so it's a bit of a history tune, yeah, and it's good history. It's tight. There's no embellishments. I mean, there was a show about it called The Good Lord Bird recently with
Okay,
Ethan Hawke, and that's unfortunately I didn't get the song out in time for it to become the theme song, but hopefully they'll make a second season or something.
let me know about that. Uh, I thought about Randy Newman throughout actually your whole damn career, just because it's the connection to the piano, of course, and the patterns that you play. Somebody asked me to play Randy Newman on this Saturday show, and I thought, am I going to play In America? You're going to play Sail Away. What am I going to play? And then I realized that he had done for a movie. He had done Got My Mojo Working, up
Oh,
tempo,
really?
fast, like he ripped into it. He absolutely ripped into it. And I went,
Oh, wow.
he's been hiding this a long time. He can do it. He can sing it and play it. So
Really?
this is a good hero to have.
Oh man, you found a very small blind spot I have in my Newman.
Got
I
My
gotta look that
Mojo
up.
Working. It's from a film, so you have to go in Spotify and
Yeah.
soundtracks, and it's there. It's there. It kills.
Ooh,
So
I like that. This is what I do this show for, man. This kind of knowledge.
so I love this Bleeding Kansas. This is cool. This is, I mean, you could if you. It would take a lot of work to do a video for it, but the song stands on its own, and it's big.
Thanks.
It's big, and then I come across something like "Hold On Tight," which sounds a lot in the piano pattern to Randy Newman, just a bit,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah.
and every once in a while I do a piano special where all the tunes are connected by the artist is piano led, piano driven, Billy Joel, Elton John, all those guys, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that whole pool of artists every time, and you're one of them.
Happy to be a part of it. That song actually is the oldest one. We've had that for about 7 years. So
Has
that in particular felt good to get out there.
Did you tinker with it or just leave it alone?
We didn't tinker with anything that would like on the recording. We did mix tinkerings and master, but not we didn't tinker with what we had actually recorded, just the sounds.
Was it always
Uh, I
called,
tried I tried not to do that so much with the older songs. Inevitably there was a couple things, but I sort of wanted like I was ready to put them out when we recorded them. So I didn't want to mess with that
yeah,
just confidence in them.
was it always called Hold On Tight?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
I don't stumble with my titles too much, although I have.
What was
But
it? What was it McCartney did? Scrambled eggs yesterday.
yeah,
He needed the pattern, so it was scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs. Oh my love.
yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Bigger genius than I, though.
He has admitted, by the way, to ripping off Bach in his chord changes.
Ah, but that's public domain at this point.
Yes,
I had a teacher in university. He taught counterpoint, which is like a very old version of music theory. And he said about stealing from Bach in that era, if you're gonna steal, steal from the best. And that was the professorial advice that we got from
yeah.
him. That was all I remember from my counterpoint class, though. I'll tell you that much.
Let me look at my notes now, if I could. Dear Jane is the name of the album. Now, I immediately thought, without doing any research whatsoever, it's your Dear John letter in reverse.
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I got that. So during the pandemic, I watched a lot of television, and one of the shows that I watched all of was MASH, and they had a lot of that. Few episodes or whatever that would happen. And I never actually heard of the Dear Jane version of it, but I think Hotlips Houlihan gets one or something like that in the
Okay.
middle. And so that was the inspiration for the idea. The
Hot
song itself is
lips.
just drawn.
Hot lips Houlihan. Oh my God. I went back and did a little brief history here. Not too far to, don't want to stretch myself or anything. Back to 2014, opening for Blue Rodeo. And you, at that point, you said, "What was it?" I said, "What does it feel like?" You said, "Feels like a life, like a lifestyle." What has it turned into? Do you think?
Well, I guess maybe a career is the
There
next
you go.
step, but I like the lifestyle thing too, for sure. I mean, I don't. the lifestyle changes. Like I'm not 25 anymore, but
There you go.
the lifestyle I very much like about still, and I hope I like it more than I did, and I think I do, and I'm better at it, and um, yeah, still very happy doing this.
Here's the thing that you have, you and others like you have an advantage, whether you care to use it or not. You know the road ahead. You can see. You can if your eyes are open and you're seeing a parent or a sibling or someone in the family who's doing where you're headed, you can see the mistakes being made and you can see how to avoid perhaps all of that. Uh, did that work out? Did that work to your advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I learned a lot from my dad and all of the guys around him.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think from being on the inside of that world that I learned the most is how to survive and
Yeah.
how to live this life um, without it, you know, beating you down, breaking you apart from other people.
Yeah.
I think that was something that I observed a lot and sort of absorbed a lot and try to sort of use in my own career in life. So I am very lucky to have had access to that, and that has definitely forged a path for me.
Let me just let me see where this question leads. The last track in the album just got me, just stopped me. Lord's Watchful Eye. And I looked up Eyes of God. I looked up Lord's Watchful Eye as a phrase, perhaps, but really it all went down to, at least on the page that I was looking at, the Bible says the eyes of God watch over the righteous. Um, it, did you cross those paths, or are you just, where did you pull that line from?
That was the first draft of that song was written when I was in university, and I was probably a little more staunchly anti-theist or anti-religious back then than I am now. Not to say that I'm religious in any way right now. Uh, so it would have probably been from something more analytical about that, but it definitely would have been from some sort of Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens book or something, a quote
Yeah.
instead of directly from the Bible. Although
Okay.
we did study it in high school. I don't know how much I absorbed, but yeah, I think that song is a little more about a frustration that I felt a lot stronger when I was felt a lot more when I was younger. Um,
Do you
and I
take
fleshed that idea,
do you take
fleshed.
any responsibility for the younger you?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, I don't think I left too much of a scorched path behind me, so I can take responsibility for everything that I
Very
did.
nice. Very nice. Very nice. I went back and did a little bit of my history that I can control, and that is talking to Jim and Barney, actually. Um, uh, on Father's Day, it was a Father's Day interview. And I was talking about, okay, you guys are established guys. You are who you are. You're now working with family members, sons, daughters. Um, how does this event? I remember Jim saying, I said that the line was about Jim. Uh, I've been doing this for a long time. Why don't you take some of my advice? And he went, absolutely not. I'm just I'm gonna make my own. He was frustrated until he realized that that's the way it was going to go down, and it was probably the smartest of the two choices.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I definitely took some of it as advice eventually. Uh, but yeah, no, I think both my brother and I, and firstly, Dustin Bentar, we're all very lucky to have um, that kind of knowledge available to us. How much we use it or not is sort of our own path, I guess. But I think even if it's not direct, that we have absorbed things in our lives from seeing and being around it
Yeah,
that we might not be able to quote, in a nice, pretty way, but
yeah.
but we feel and see in ourselves more and more every day. Um,
He followed by saying, by the way, the comment was, uh, um, "Oh, I've been doing this for a long time. Why don't you just take some of my advice?" Now he says, "Now I truly appreciate it. I admire how he did it. It's the do-it-yourself spirit. That's what you were going to do. You were going to do it your way.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice
I guess
work.
so.
Nice
I
work,
mean,
man.
I certainly have mixed in, using the advantage as much as is
Yeah.
required. So it's not, it's a half truth maybe, but
And actually, he was always talking about uh, getting to sing with you on those gold medal trips where you were,
Mhm.
in some grand building outside in front of a fire in Italy, right? And the audience was drinking everywhere. They were won over. They were wonderful. Your job was to not drink the whole of the bottle and remember that you were probably going to have to finish the night with a song or two. But
Mhm.
I mean, you got to that was the way that you guys got to sing together. It was good. It was right.
Yeah, it was great. And it was always sort of this informal version of playing that we did, like a sort of a live jam, let's say.
No.
Not exactly that informal, but and this past spring, my brother and dad and I did a tour of small places down east for 2 weeks, and we had to take that format, which we had done, and build a show in it, like a show where we traded songs and things like that, because it was just the three of us, no band or anything. And it was very interesting to transform what we had done for almost a decade together with that fundraising company, and turned it into a show
Show.
that's for a theater for ticket buyers, and we actually ended up with something pretty special. I thought it was a really great experience, and we had traveled a lot together, so all the things that you think of that are difficult to do as a family, we sort of had figured out, um, and we had a great time.
Devin Cuddy's with us, and the his new album is called "Dear Jane." Friends, it starts with a surprising song. I didn't know it was coming. I thought I might have heard that it was Barney's "Come Back to Me, Baby." We'll paint the down red. Let's paint the town red. Did you ask Barn if you could sing it, or did you just surprise him with it?
Oh, no, no, we asked. So we started playing it as in our band probably 5 or 6 years ago, just as a cover in our sets. And then we slowly, after the response from audiences, moved it further and further closer to the end till it became like a finale song. And then when we got into the studio with a whole whack of new songs, it was obvious that it was something that we did and people liked, and we were going to record it. And I talked to Barney about it, and we had played it with him for years again on those Canada's Great Kitchen Party trips, and we got him in to sing on it too. He's singing backups, and he's got a couple holler lines in there, which was really great. And we did our CD release party, or I guess it's called record release party now, in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and he just happened to be in town and came up and sang with us on the second of two nights. And so it was great. It's been great. We love that song and love Barney. And again, like we recorded that before the pandemic, so we've been sitting on that version for a while. So great to have it out.
Did you go and see Dylan at Massey Hall?
I did. Yeah, I was there the second night.
Wow.
I've seen him. I've seen him. That'll be my fourth or fifth time. So you really got to know what to expect, because if you don't, it's a little shocking. Because it's not polished, it's not excellent or anything, but it's Bob Dylan,
Good
and
band.
yeah, it was
Good band.
good. He's got a great band, but they have crash endings, and they have, like, it takes a great band. But it was, of the five, probably the best, one of the best ones I've seen. Because I've come away before thinking, well, I'm not coming back to this show. But it was really great, and I mean that's a very uh, special place. I think even if it was a bad show, seeing him at Massey Hall was.
Massey Hall. Absolutely. Let me ask you about unemployable. Written about just a friend? Or
It's a friend he came up with the title and told me to write the song about him. And again, that was a long time ago, but he could not stop getting fired from jobs. It was unbelievable. Um, he's remedied that issue now, and is actually works in restaurant, food and beverage, and is very sought after. But so now it just captures an era in our lives.
okay.
Pretty much all of those examples are real. and
Jack's
he's been
Jack, how about Jack's song?
that's very loosely based on an interaction that I had with a friend where I might have paraphrased some of the words.
Okay.
But the line "Some make art and some make friends" was his catchphrase for a couple of years. Drunken catchphrase, but
And does Jane know the songs about her? I mean,
there's no Jane.
there's no Jane. It's
But people keep like constantly. People are saying that to me. Truly,
here's one other thing that Jim couldn't was surprised by, that being your father. That you and Sam were both writing songs in the house, and he never knew it. When he finally heard the songs, he didn't. Well, that's what he was telling us back in.
yeah. We were playing songs more in the basement. I don't know if we were writing songs.
Okay.
Sam eventually was because he was started writing
Sure.
songs. And yeah, I guess maybe I was on the piano downstairs, but I really didn't start digging in until I was at university for music, and so it was sort of this incubator space that I started. But yeah, I guess there would have been, yeah, like we didn't come running upstairs and say, "Dad, look at what we wrote," you know.
No.
But we would my brother Sam and I started playing some bluegrass stuff together when he was still in high school and I was home from university and stuff.
Have you and Sam
In the
talked
basement.
about forming some sort of secondary band, a group, something, anything together?
We do a lot of stuff. We do stuff together.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would not yet, formalize it into something. We both have our own band, so we'd fight over who the personnel would be. But we do things together. We've done some private events. We've hired to do different things. And then we do these kitchen party trips and events together. So we do enough for now.
Okay. I just thought maybe it had, over a beer, you might have talked about it. Jim's comment about he likes the do-it-yourself spirit that you guys showed. I'm looking at the credits, and I see that you're the songwriter, the singer, the producer.
I did co-produce one track.
Okay, that's it. Okay,
that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's your own company, it's your own destination,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I try to do at all or as much as I can myself. I mean, my bandmates obviously have input in sort of the formations of the songs, but when I bring them to them, they're done.
Now, are you coming our way?
We are working on that right now. I'm hoping to be there. In late February, but announcements will come soon.
You mean
I really want to
another freeze your ass off tour?
Come on! You got to experience Alberta in the winter. It makes us feel so soft in southern Ontario. It's -2 right now, and I'm freaking out.
Well, I'm on Vancouver Island, and what's happened now is there's a new tour pattern that I'm noticing. Many bands or many artists just said, "Yeah, we're touring coast to coast," and they stop in Vancouver. Now they're coming to Victoria and then working up the spine of the island.
I've heard that.
Cochrane just did 6 dates. It works for some, it doesn't work for others. If you're highly mobile and you can get around and stuff and set up, and the setup's easy, all of a sudden Vancouver Island's seeing more and more music.
That's great. I have seen that actually in tour routes. We haven't really played out on the island in a while, but I've always loved it. So hopefully we'll make that part of our western swing.
How many of the older
Get
songs?
some warm weather.
Thank you. How many of the older songs that we know you for, it will be in the set? How many do you still want to do?
Well, it'll probably be at least 10, if not more, because the record's only 35 minutes. So
that's right. Yeah.
I got another 40.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Got another 45 to fill. But yeah, we still play lots of the old stuff to fill it out. And, we know the songs that we like doing and that work well. So we've got a pretty good fixed set list, but it's fluid, man. We always add and move things around when we can.
I got to tell you how fantastic it is to actually have I've taken a front row seat and kind of watched this growth of yours. Tried not to raise my expectations, just enjoyed what came along. It's been incredible to actually watch this all happen, because it doesn't happen very often where you get a chance to actually watch it from a long distance, mind you. I don't get to see all the camera stuff, House, but just to see the growth. How about you? How have you enjoyed this ride? Have
A
you?
lot,
Yeah.
a lot. I wish, I sort of lament the loss of those 3 years in the pandemic because I felt that those were going to be good years for us. But I'm glad that we're able to put this out and get out there again. And I missed the road and I miss all the towns. And I just have this sort of reinvigoration from getting back to it. And I do like it a lot.
Sure.
And putting this music out especially felt really good because of how long we kind of had it. And it's sort of got me rearing to start again
By the way,
in the studio.
from the radio side, it's a very playable album.
Oh, I
Very.
love to
And
love to hear that, Terry.
CKUA is going to love this. There's lots of shows. Lots of the shows around me are going to be playing this album. This is very playable. Well done.
Thank you, Terry. I love CKUA. I'm honored to be on it.
Okay, so now, Bleeding Kansas, Hold On Tight. Barney's song. Barney's a single, right? The Come Back to Me is the first single.
Dear Jane was the first one, and now Come Back to Me.
Okay. And what's the band going to look like? A 4-piece?
We're working on that. We've been doing a duo thing as well, based on what kind of venues and where. I'm sure if when we're coming to the big cities and out west, it'll be the 4-piece. Yeah.
Because that's what Tom Cochran was doing. He's doing a duo.
Yeah, we've been doing that more, depending on where we're going and where we're playing. There's a few reasons. One is there's smaller clubs are better. That's better. The other is the cost of traveling is very high at the moment. So it's a mix of both, but I don't see going to big city centers with the duo.
Okay.
But you never know.
When we, the press media, write and talk about you, are they getting it right? Are we? Because we'd like to. You got to fix. You have to be a square peg in a round hole, and we got to have you marked as who you are. We know who you are, Devin Cuddy. We know who you are. It's okay. We introduce ourselves. Have we gotten your persona or how you see yourself correct?
I think so. I certainly haven't felt misrepresented by anything in particular, not especially on this most recent sort of press run around this record.
Okay.
Most people talk to me about Randy Newman in the interview, and that pretty much sums it up to me, buddy. So
I asked Randy. I stood on the stage at the Commodore Ballroom and with Randy Newman and a grand piano, and I got a chance to finally do an interview with him. And I said, "You could bring strings, you could bring a quartet, you could bring cellos, you could whatever. You could whatever. You could have them on stage. You've chosen to play for these people with a grand piano. Why just the grand piano?" He said, "Because it shortens the distance between me and the audience to like that. It just brings us together, focuses on the piano." How about you?
I very much like that concept. I feel a little naked up there when I play solo, so that's why I do duo stuff in the smaller place. Part of what I really enjoy about music is doing it with some other musicians. There's a great joy out of that, and I feel that there's definitely more of a connection when we do our duo shows, but I get lonely out there when you're on your own.
He also said
But I
something.
love that. I remember you told me that before, and I've always thought about that.
That one, and the other thing that I remember from the interview was, I said, your songwriting discipline. Tell me about that. He said, if the label tells me I have to have the album in by June the 30th, I start writing on June the 5th and 6th, and I record like crazy, and I mix like crazy, and I hand it off. I can't. I fail myself each and every time, but the deadline is what drives me.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about how he is a sort of woodshedder, like he locks the door and kind of writes and creates like that. I realized, particularly over the pandemic, but I think I realized it before, was that that doesn't work for me.
No,
I need moments of inspiration and flashes and stuff,
there's
and
too much. Yeah, there's panic in that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. I know that a lot of people from being locked in their home got a lot of creative output, but I realized that a lot of my inspiration comes from human interaction. So it was a very fruitless time. I mean, I reconnected with my piano playing and writing some instrumentals and stuff, but not what I was hoping to put out to the world.
I have two more questions for you. One is, can you tell us, because I'm a long way from Toronto and the music scene, give us three artists to keep an eye on that you know now that we're going to be talking about.
There's a guy named Connor Gaines who's an amazing uh, singer and guitar player, blues and soul. He's from Kitchener. He's been out there a bit, but I remember the first time I saw him, I just thought, "Holy moly, this kid is amazing." Um, I'm a little more out of touch with the newer groups, but I did something with a band called the Red Hill Valleys who are out here recently, and I was really thought they were great.
All right.
And what else? Sam Taylor, yeah, he's a good,
Sure.
again from Kitchener, a very good blues
Yep.
guitar player, and I've been doing shows in and around him since he was 16. And I remember actually we did a show with him, and his guitar broke like in half. The headstock broke right off while he was playing a solo version of Thunder Road, which I thought was a learning experience for him. But
Wow.
he just keeps popping up, and
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of really, really talented musicians, and sometimes you feel like they're not taking up the space that uh, should be allotted to them. Uh, but
Well, are we giving them the room
that's
for that
life.
space? Um,
Yeah, I
one
don't know.
one final question. I'm going to ask it outside of this regular interview. So I want to say thank you for this and congratulations on Dear Jane and the tunes and whatever befalls you in 24, 25.
Thank you, Terry. It's always really nice to talk to you, buddy. You've been really great to me over the years, so love you.
Thank you, Devin.